That building right in front of you is the Hilton Netherlands Hotel. It was built in 1931, 29 stories tall, and it boasts 561 hotel rooms, and it is on the Historical National Registry list. It is also the same building where one Richard Campbell was working on December 7th of 2012, where he was killed on his 58th birthday, on a day that he wasn't even supposed to be there. It was his day off. Downtown Cincinnati, Ohio could be somewhat a dicey and dangerous place. It's cleaner than most downtowns that I've been to, but nonetheless, it's still a major American city and still could be a rather dangerous area. So we're gonna go back to December 7th of 2012, and on that day, Richard Campbell is turning the big 5'8". Now, normally he never, ever works on his day off, but for some unknown reason, they called him to come into work, and he showed up. Never was he known to work on his birthday. Previously, in his younger years, Richard was in the Air Force, where he worked as a military police officer. After leaving the Air Force, he comes back to Cincinnati and he gets a job here at the Hilton. On that morning, he comes in here, clocks in, and begins his daily rounds doing security for the hotel. I imagine his job pretty much is keeping the riffraff from loitering out and in front of the building. And it's probably a typical morning. You wake up, you start very early, and you're getting all of the winos, the drug addicts, so forth and so on, who are still hungover from the previous night's festivities. Enter one Joseph Tucker, local area transient and troublemaker. So Joseph Tucker, comes to this building and he's loitering, probably asking people for change, what have you. And Richard tells him to leave. Now, it's not exactly clear what happened, but we do know is that a fight ensued, and in the process, Richard had radioed for help just after 6 a.m. By the time other security personnel arrived, Richard was in the stairwell of this building, suffering from multiple stab wounds. This bum, Joseph Tucker, in some kind of drug-induced rage or mental rage or what have you, stabs this man to death. And as he's dying on the ground, he robs him of his wallet and all of his jewelry. By the time EMS arrived, there was nothing that they can do. Richard had died at the scene. Murdered on your birthday, on a day where you were supposed to have off. On that evening, he was supposed to go out with his family to go have dinner. Richard was known to his friends and family as Slick Rick, and he was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, which is not very popular to be at in the Cincinnati area. So they're very hated rivals with the Cincinnati Bengals. And he was a father figure to his niece's kids. A man who, by all intents and purposes, lived his life the way any normal man should, doing everything that you're supposed to do. And on a day, again, not supposed to be here, supposed to be taking it easy, sleeping in on your birthday, tragically murdered at his job by some pitiful thug piece of filth. Joseph Tucker was eventually caught, arrested, and tried for Richard's murder. And he was eventually sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. I'm assuming Judge Lubbers, the judge in the case, feels that this man is deserving of possibly a second chance later on in life. When asked why she gave such a low amount of years. She stated that due to Joseph's mental illness, that she decided on that particular sentence. So let's hope that the amount of years that he's put away is closer to the life than to the 15. And this is Richard's final resting place. Vietnam vet. Thank you for your service. These parts of the cemeteries that I often go to are always going to be my favorite, so as long as I shall remain on this earth. However, they're so difficult to look up any information on. Practically, the only way you're ever going to be remembered if you lived and died in the 1800s or the earlier part of the 20th century is if you were famous, you invented something, or you were horribly murdered. Other than that, if you lived a normal life, and whether you were a good or not so good person, history will just not remember anybody out there who didn't make a mark on society, whether good or bad. Okay, I am departing. Still got about an hour of sunlight left, but I have to go to another location to finish a video that I started working on earlier today. So it is my goal from here on out, gonna try anyways, to do a bit more traveling. I prefer always to drive. That way, you know, you're basically flying over so many stories, and I'm only but one person. But I do need to do some more traveling to where I just kind of get on a plane and just skedaddle. Hopefully there'll be some international traveling in there as well. Live but not live, still alive by the grace of God. I'm Lamont at large. Rest in peace to Mr. Richard Campbell. Very tragic story, just one of many, many stories all across the planet. I'll see you on the next video. Be good, y'all. Peace out.